I'm Kat.
And I'm Hayley.
And this is Night Classy,
a tipsy night class teaching the oddities and curiosities you never learned in school.
Where are you taking us on this learning journey, Hayley?
I forgot that you asked me this question, so let me tell you that on this learning journey, we are going to a spooky little town where something spooky happened.
Okay, I love a spooky story.
Yes, it is Halloween.
Yes, Halloween season is upon us.
It is. She's here to stay. What are you teaching us today?
For once, I actually wrote down my teaser, so here we go. I'm going to tell you about an animal that was instrumental in both World Wars, but would be useless in World War III.
Uh-oh, World War III, the war for water.
It's fast upon us. War for water, war for temperatures under 130 degrees Fahrenheit. You name it.
I walked outside today and in the morning it was like 80 degrees. I was like, wow, this feels nice.
Yeah, it felt cool. This morning when I left for work, it was 70 degrees. It's like, oh my God, I haven't seen a temperature this low since World War II.
I went with the windows down on my way home today.
That's
I was
nice.
like, let me soak in this 80 to 5 degree weather.
Yeah, today was like high 80s and it felt cold because we've been going through it.
Yeah, it's chilly now.
Our house doesn't get below 80 degrees because it's been so hot outside.
Yeah,
even with AC.
Your AC is working at maximum capacity. It's going to die young, no doubt about it. It may die very soon because it's working overtime. It's tired. It has calluses on its feet. It's sweating constantly.
She's working 60 hours a week, 7 days a week, just trying to put food on the table.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Single
a hard
mother
life.
Of how many people live in your
1,000.
house? Like 5 of 1,000. Single mother 1,000, working literally 24/7.
Yeah,
nonstop.
Life's not fair. It's a hard knock life. We had to give Hayley a portable air conditioning unit because things got so rough at her house.
And it has been rough. That bitch is still hooked up. Or actually, Tommy took it down yesterday, but it was hot in our place. I couldn't believe it.
Our place too, and like you said, we have a lot of creatures in our house at the moment, so we're just trying to keep everyone cool. Which, by the way, there have been no takers on my stray kittens, and if nobody takes them, guess
You
who's
have to
keeping
take them.
Yeah, and I've never envisioned myself as a person with 4 cats. I feel like 3 is the maximum to be normal.
4 is it's on the line. And if you have 4 cats, I'm not going to say I'm sorry. That is verging. You are on the precipice of too much.
I'm on the edge of glory.
You're on the edge of disglory.
And to be fair, I would love to have 4 cats, but that's a lot of cats.
That's true. In the space that we have, our square footage is pretty similar in our places. Now, if you have a mansion, please have all the cats.
Please have all the cats. But at the same time, I feel this is so inaccurate, but I feel like a mother with a lot of kids who's spread thin. I'm like, how am I going to give all my babies the attention they deserve? Just today, I got home from work and we had to do this recording at 5 or 5:30. I got home from work at 4:30 and I was like, oh my God, I had to feed the cats, I had to let Georgia out, I had to water the plants, I had to feed Georgia, then I had to go feed the kittens by hand and with my teat and it was just I had to take care of everyone. How do people do it when this is with actual children? Because
seriously,
I felt like I was being pulled in a million directions. All my babies,
and they're not that they're just animals, but they're just cats. They're animals, but these things take energy. The plants take energy. Maintaining a home takes energy.
And then Ghosty was yelling at me because I wasn't paying attention to him. Yep. And then Georgia looked sad on the couch because I didn't really pet her. I just let her out and fed her because I had so many mouths to feed, so much to take care of.
And then you put an actual kid in the mix?
I don't know how people do it. Genuinely, I'm in awe because what? I cannot imagine.
Cannot comprehend. Kudos to you guys if you're managing it.
Truly.
Wow, I'm impressed.
Yes. And then I have my horse son, and I feel like I don't drive out there to see him enough. And I have a lot of mom guilt at the moment.
And you're about to double down with these 2 kittens.
No, I'm not. I'm going to find them a home and get them out of my house because I'm already becoming attached and I know I can't keep them.
I know. They're so cute, guys. So if you need a kitten, come and get them, willing to drive. And if you don't need a kitten, yes, you do.
Yes, you do.
Yes, you do.
And I'm willing to drive up to 5 hours to deliver them.
I would love that. That'd be a fun little road trip.
It would.
You drive. I play with them in the back seat.
Okay, I'm down.
Let's go.
We could easily do it. We could even make a little weekend trip out of it. Hopefully you live somewhere cool.
A little overnight. We could do, what if New Orleans? Who is listening to this in New Orleans?
Really, if you live in a fun city, I'm willing to drive 8 hours.
Yeah,
8 hours.
I think 8 is good.
If you live somewhere that sucks, 5 hours. Max.
That's accurate.
Yeah.
And you could always meet us halfway if you live further than 8. We could meet somewhere in the middle.
True.
That's really cool.
Everyone's listening to this being like, I could literally go outside and have a kitten. Like, I don't need to jump through all your hoops.
You can't have these
kittens are special. They're so cute.
They've been hand raised by Kat and Alec for the last 5 days.
Listen, I am really proud of myself. I think I'm a cat whisperer. So is Alec, because these kittens were feral. They had never been near a human. They were terrified of us. They were hissing at us. They didn't want anything to do with us. And within 4 days, now they're obsessed with humans and they love us and they want us to rub their bellies and feed them treats out of our hands.
Very, very sweet. I can't wait until they gain enough weight that they have the bulbous kitten bellies.
They're getting
Or is that worm belly?
I think right now they have worm belly because we haven't been able to get them into the vet yet.
Yeah.
The shelter is working on it currently, but
supposedly
we need to get these babies dewormed because yikes.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what I was going to say. Oh, yes, I had a thought. You know those videos on Facebook where it'll show a feral cat or dog being like rehabilitated? I'm gonna scroll and see you guys one day. I just know it. What is it called? Like the dojo that always has the dodo always has those videos.
I'm so down. I love it.
Well, I'm glad we invested in buying that animal trap.
I told Alec, I was like, I think this is our gateway into becoming animal fosters. Like, I want to foster more animals, but he disagrees because he gets attached to them, which is fair. But I'm really enjoying these kittens.
Yeah. You're going to keep them.
No, I'm not, Hayley. Don't even say that. I'm literally not.
You're like,
I'm
drop
literally
one
not.
off. Yeah.
I can't even contemplate it because as soon as that door opens, it's not going to shut.
I know. Tommy and I had a whole conversation outside of your guys' house in the road last night. Me being like, please, 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 please.
Yeah. It was torture to Hayley because she came over and they're snuggling the kittens. And I was like, you could take them home tonight if you want. Like, you can take them home tonight.
Sold.
And then you had to leave without a kitten.
I had to leave my child.
So sad.
My child behind. And then we get home and Tommy's like, Safety, your replacement. And you smell your replacement on her.
I felt like that last night because every night when I go to bed, Ernie comes and joins me. And like, he's not a super snuggly cat, but like in the morning and at night, he wants to cuddle in bed. And I had the kittens in my bed.
Betrayal.
And he jumped up, made eye contact with them, hissed, and like ran away. And that was it. And I felt really guilty about that.
You should. That's his special time.
It's his special mommy time.
Oh, and you denied him of his mommy time. What is a boy to do?
I know. I'm a bad mom. But that's why I can't keep the kittens. I don't have time for 6 children. I already have 4.
So true.
Yeah.
No truer words have been spoken.
Yeah.
So that being said, come get these cats, please, before we have to do something drastic and add to our collection.
We could each keep one, and then we'd be in the 3-cat threshold.
You don't have to convince me. I am not the one to convince. Okay.
And you want Krobus, right?
Yes.
Linus is Alex's favorite, so we could keep
Linus.
It works out. Yeah.
It works out.
I should note to the listeners, these kittens are identical to the kittens we got in quarantine. So there's a black one and a tabby one, and it's comical because now Hayley wants the second black one, and we want the second tabby one.
Well, I want the black one, but I love Linus too. I would concede.
I would take Linus too.
Okay.
Either or.
Yeah. Doesn't
But I
matter.
love a
They're
black
both
cat.
adorable kittens.
You do need a black cat
matter.
though. I already
Right?
have one.
Because the Linus looks identical to Ernie, and that will just get confusing.
You'll get them so confused.
So confused.
There's
It would
no
be
way
impossible.
to tell them apart.
Yeah.
Well, moving on from that.
Moving on.
Because I'm going to I'll just get stuck on it. We've been going on for 10 minutes now about these
10
foster
minutes?
10
No
minutes.
wonder we get 1-star reviews. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
we get it. Because we're always saving it for the pod. So we like don't talk to each other on
We
the
really
way
don't.
here. And, I mean, we do.
Yeah, I'm kidding.
We hang out, but also we save it for the pod. So moving on from that. Anything else, or are we ready
No,
to get
I
into
don't.
it?
I thought you had some big announcement the way you were guiding our conversation.
In both of our lives, this is the central thing that happened.
Right. Sometimes I jot down little notes of things to talk about. Today I had nothing. I raw dogged this conversation.
Wow, look at you. That's that anti-anxiety talking. I raw dogged this conversation.
Did you have bullet points for conversation?
No.
Okay, good.
I never do, though.
Oh, I always do. I have this fear that we're going to get on the mic and neither of us are going to know what to say.
Well, that does happen
That's
sometimes.
true. It does.
When we can't go on too long about grocery stores, which is
my
probably our favorite topic. We have so much to say about it, truthfully. And then the cats, and then Bachelor, which not everyone watches Bachelor.
But if you do, holy shit. Fucking
this last episode, Xavier.
That was the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. Everyone go watch charity season of The Bachelorette because best season since Hannah Brown. It's so good.
Total comeback season. We're here for it. It's
Love
what
it.
we've been praying for.
My prayers have been answered. I now believe in God.
Dark
I've seen
Lord
the light.
Palmer.
Also listen to Game of Roses podcast because it's great too. All right, should we freaking get started? I think
Yes,
that's
I'm ready
enough
to
of
close
that.
my laptop and listen. I just want to listen. As a matter of fact, this is a one lesson episode.
That's
you take
fine.
it away.
Don't say anything. I'm just going to read my notes verbatim.
Just read them.
That's probably what everyone wants anyway. World War I is well known for its prominence of trench warfare.
Just kidding.
Okay, we're off to a strong
war.
start.
Never mind.
Okay. With this style of fighting, it's really difficult to pass messages between trenches because, like, if you get up above the trench, you get shot.
Yeah.
So, like, you're kind of fucked in that way.
Lose-lose.
It's a lose-lose-lose.
A valiant effort, though, I must say.
Also, radio had been invented and, like, was being used during World War I, but radios were still pretty impractical at the time. They were like hard to get. They were heavy. They were expensive. They were easily broken, sometimes unreliable. And all of this is to say that an alternate method of communication needed to be implemented. And this was communication via pigeon.
Hey, passenger pigeon.
Yes. Carrier pigeons have been used to transfer messages in warfare as far back as the Roman Empire and for personal messages and political messages long before even that.
And this is so cool, but also, do the pigeons get therapy afterwards? Like,
they're usually dead.
The PTSD for pigeons must also rival that of soldiers.
I love pigeons, but I don't think their brains are capable of having
trauma.
Trauma, literally.
I think you're
Hayley,
wrong.
they're so dumb. Which I'm sure they can have trauma, and we should all be nice to pigeons. But like, something I'm obsessed with, I don't know if we've talked about it on the pod, I've definitely told you about it, is there's a subreddit called Stupid Dove Nests because pigeons and doves are so stupid they can't make nests. So they'll like just put like 2 twigs on the ground and then lay their eggs on top of it. It's
That'll
so funny. That'll do.
That'll do, donkey.
They're so funny. But what they lack in brains, they make up for in athleticism. They are extremely fast with recorded speeds up to 100 miles per hour.
No fucking way.
And they can travel as far as 1,000 miles at a time.
Girl, who are you running from?
Artillery weapons. Granted, these are like specially bred racing pigeons, and these traits have been selectively bred into them over a long time. Back during World War I, a pigeon could fly at top speeds of around 60 miles per hour and travel as many as 200 miles at a time, which both of those are still really impressive.
Yeah, I think my max speed is 7 miles per hour, maybe.
I think I could do, I said I was going to say I think I could do 6, and then I realized that's less than 7, but that's my truthful answer.
So you could beat me.
I think I could do 6 10-minute miles consecutively.
6 10-minute miles, so you could run for an hour straight.
No. Maybe.
Okay.
I think I could in like a life or death situation. Not by choice.
Yeah, I agree with that.
By World War II, selective breeding meant these pigeons could fly 600 miles at once.
And I would fly 600 miles.
What makes them truly unique, though, is their ability to navigate. These birds can be dropped anywhere and will nearly always find their way back to their home roost. This ability has been studied extensively, but we still don't have concrete answers on exactly how they do this. Some research suggests that the birds use the sun as a compass. They might also be able to navigate by an internal compass. And this is because they're supposedly really sensitive to magnetic fields. Some scientists believe that on top of the pigeon's beak, there's a concentration of iron particles, and this allows them to magnetically align to Earth's north. Somehow.
Okay, you guys want to talk about aliens? Let's talk
witchcraft.
about pigeons. Or witchcraft. Also, every 42 million years, when the poles switch the magnetic field,
all the pigeons
all
are
the pigeons
fucked.
just explode,
and then new ones come in.
Yeah, that's when they
replaced.
actually evolve.
Or the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere, pigeons just swap places, and then they're all good.
Yeah, they shake hands. It's like wife swap.
Oh my god. I want the pigeon reality show.
Me too.
That'd be so
this
cute.
is North America. This is South America. This is what we do here.
It's also possible they use other senses like spatial distribution, atmospheric odors, and infrasound.
You know what's actually crazy is that my senior thesis class was all about animal cognition and research, and we learned so much about this. I can tell you nothing.
Oh.
I can tell you nothing.
I was worried for a second that you were like, this is boring. I know everything.
No, I'm hearing it for the first time as far as my brain and memory are concerned.
Okay, good. That's how I feel when anyone's like, you're a history major. You know what happened in this year, right? Bitch, no, I do not.
No.
No.
We have big picture at best. Vague details.
Really, it was just research and writing skills.
Rinse and repeat at that, because the procrastination is strong. For me anyway.
For me too.
There's not a lot of comprehending and remembering long term when you're just chugging and plugging.
Very true. So whatever these pigeons' methods are, likely it's a combination of a few things. They make exceptional messengers. Pigeons were, for war, wrapped in a cloth vest, and this kind of held their wings down. And it's so cute. They're in this little harness, and then they're clipped to the soldiers' uniforms.
And baby Bjorn.
They're in a baby Bjorn, and they just kind of dangle there until they need to be deployed. I'm sure it's not the kindest thing to do to them, but the pictures were pretty cute.
It sounds very cute. Okay, I'm sure you'll get to this, but how do they know where to go?
We just talked about that. They can navigate.
I know they can navigate, but if we're, here in downtown Memphis and I'm trying to send a message to Tommy and
So what happens is they roost them at military
at where they
bases.
will want them to go.
Yeah, so they train them to come back to there because they'll get food and rest and shelter there. So you can then take one from there, attach it to your uniform, and then it'll deliver a message back there.
Okay. So they're not you're going to 234 Wallaby Lane.
No, they're not like owls in Harry Potter. They're a little different. Tanks were built with small holes just big enough to release pigeons, and pilots were trained to release pigeons so that they wouldn't be caught in the plane's propeller. Messages were affixed either in containers attached to the bird's legs, or they had little backpacks.
Okay, I'm pro team backpack.
So
I'm
cute.
team pro backpack. Also, I'm done with my first glass of wine.
You
and
should
it's
pour
hitting.
another.
I think I will. And then by the time it's time to go home, I'll be sobered up. But I'm done with Accutane, you guys. So
Congratulations.
cheers.
You can
to
drink as
drinking
much as
again.
you want.
I can be a messy bitch.
You should
again.
drink that whole box and I'll drive us home.
Oh my God. Yeah. Because I'll definitely be up in time to come down here and get my car in the morning.
You know what? In celebration of your Accutane journey, I will drop your car off for you tomorrow morning.
That'd be crazy.
No, I won't because that's too early. But
Or
it's the thought that
Alec
counts.
drives, follows, you drive my car. I'm a passenger princess.
I leave the house at 6:30.
I'm not talking about tomorrow in the morning. I'm talking about tonight.
Oh, tonight. Yeah, we could do that.
No, we shouldn't. I have a full day tomorrow.
Okay.
There's no time to be overhung. But perhaps this weekend we do a little something.
I'm down.
Okay. Sorry. Anyway.
So, like I said, they would. Well, the little backpacks I wanted to explain in further detail because it's very cute.
And you said there's no pictures, but I need a picture. But
I'm
I'll
sorry.
pull one up.
They're like the size of like cigars, and they just wear. It's just very cute. And then you roll up the little letter and put it in.
That's
Anyway.
like when I was actively in the classroom for my preschoolers, there aren't a ton of like tiny backpacks that you can fit a folder into. So all of the preschoolers came to school with these regular sized backpacks, which just looked like massive backpacks on them. Like I had one kid who was so small that the bottom of the backpack like dragged on the ground.
Oh my God, that's really cute.
So cute.
That's adorable. One of the sixth graders at our school has this backpack that's like, it's gorgeous. It's like structured and leather and like detailed and sewn together, but it's SpongeBob. It's like a designer looking SpongeBob backpack.
That
And
is so
I'm
cool.
obsessed with it. It's so cool.
Ask them where they got it from.
I will.
Please, because
It must be something like fancy, like some brand the kids know because he still has the tags on it. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something. I need to figure it out because I want one. Anyway, so the pigeons, like I explained, it would go back to where they would be fed and receive rest, and that's at their roost. And in the roost, there's tripwires. So when a pigeon arrives, they like land on a wire, and that causes a signal to the attendants that a message arrived, because sometimes it'll be like minutes, like you got, like it's a war, like you got to get there as soon as possible. So people would run up, read the letter. The Germans were the first to utilize homing pigeons in World War I. They had a pigeon breeding program before the war even started. So they were locked and ready in 1917.
Damn.
Allied forces, though, were slower on the uptake. They kind of saw what the Germans were doing with the pigeons and realized they needed their own.
What if they're like, we don't want to do anything the Germans are doing. We want to be the complete opposite. We are the good guys.
They try to like train bald eagles to deliver messages. They did have hawks, so I guess there's that. The U.S. Army commenced operations on the Signal Corps Pigeon Service in 1918. Pigeons were viewed as extremely valuable equipment, which meant that when troops were captured, so were their pigeons. In October of 1918, a basket of 10 German pigeons was captured by U.S. forces. And
what if they just sent the German pigeons with a note that was like a drawing of the middle finger? They're like, got your pigeons, bitch.
yeah, they sent them back. But that would be like giving them guns back. Like you don't give
that's fair.
back
But
that equipment.
so they have to retrain the pigeons on where the roost is.
Well, I don't know if you can, or like at least it's kind of tough.
Yeah, so they just don't use them.
They just don't, at least with these ones, because these ones were captured and then the war was over like a month later. So now they're like, what do we do with all these PPOWs, pigeon prisoners of war? I just thought of that. No big deal.
That is so funny for some reason. PPOWs.
Yeah.
PP. I think that's why.
So now they have all these birds. It's peacetime. So what they do is they send a bunch of them back to the U.S. to use for a PR stunt. And they go on tour with these pigeons. They parade them around the U.S. in cars, and they have them all like tied to like a wire sitting on top of a car. And there's a sign that says "Captured German War Pigeons." And so they go around showing them off, and they're also used as a recruiting tool for the U.S. military. Like they go on this little tour and then enlist people.
They were dead?
No, they were alive.
Oh, okay.
It'd be funny if they like released them in a room and you could try and like catch them as a recruit.
It's like one of those dollar machines where the dollar is flying everywhere and it's pigeons.
Oh my God. One of the craziest things that has ever happened in front of my eyes is in college, we were going out one night and we had been pre-gaming. We're walking to the bar and I just was in a silly, goofy mood. And I was like, I'll give $5 to the next person who catches a bird with their bare hands tonight.
Oh my God.
And immediately, my friend runs up to a bird that is on a car, just hanging out, being a bird. I didn't think anyone would actually do this.
No,
I thought it was just being silly.
That's insane.
It's insane. He runs up, grabs the bird, goes, "Oh my God," and then releases it.
Yeah, he
and
probably was expecting it. He was trying to be funny.
He was trying to be funny.
It was going to run away. That's crazy.
And then I had to pay him $5 on Venmo for catching a bird in his bare hands.
Best $5 you ever spent.
Absolutely. And it was like that happened in 30 seconds. It was immediately he runs up and catches the bird.
That's the only way to catch a bird with your bare hands is if you don't think you're actually going to be able to do it.
You can't believe that you're going to.
Right.
The bird will sense your confidence. They may be dumb, some of them, but they can feel energy.
They're very fast.
It was crazy.
After this little tour, the homing pigeons were sent to a retirement facility, aka breeding facility, where they had the important job of raising the next generation of war pigeons.
Dang, except for generating the next generation, that's kind of accurate for humans too, as far as being a retirement and breeding.
So true.
Situation. We're not that different. Birds, they're just like you.
And war, of course, was on the horizon. As American involvement in World War II approached, more pigeons were needed. So the military took a census on privately owned racing pigeons and asked the owners to register them for possible military use.
No, you cannot draft the pets.
It's literally a pigeon draft.
Get your own fucking pigeons. Get your own future PPOWs.
Don't they breed like really easily? Like, can't you just like have 1,000 pigeons if you want them? Apparently
how
not.
many will last if they're so bad at building nests?
Well, they're kept in a pigeon barn.
Yeah, that's true. If they're specifically breeding them,
fine. I don't know. They even like debated putting a ban on shooting wild pigeons because they're like, what if we have to capture
that makes
wild
sense.
pigeons for the war?
Oh my God.
Does it?
That's the true draft.
Yeah, those pigeons.
That's a whole other level of drafting. It's all bad, but to go from feral, kind of like you guys did with the cats, to be honest. Just kidding. That was
the cats
right
like it. They also offered to purchase pigeons for $5 a piece, and this was 50% less than market value. But regardless, people still sold or loaned their pigeons to the military as a way to aid the war effort. Pigeon clubs were especially responsive and sent birds in doves, aka droves. That was a pun.
Nice. Thank you for explaining.
You're welcome. One shipment arrived in New York City with 52,000 birds.
That's too many birds.
It's a lot of birds.
Sorry, you've reached the limit of birdage.
Can you imagine how much shit there would be in that crate?
No, it smells awful. They're all in there. They're just packed in,
yeah.
I'm sure.
Disgusting.
No, thank you.
When World War II broke out, the U.S. and Britain both had sizable fleets of homing pigeons ready to go.
That's kind of terrifying. I'm picturing all of their like dead eye, beady eyes, just like glancing around, ready to go to their fucking roost.
Yeah.
And be little spies.
They're kind of scary. I used to work in a neighborhood, and every day when I'd get off the light rail and walk to my job, I would pass this guy, and he was unhoused, so he was like always on the bench, and he would cover himself in bird seed like head to toe, and then all day pigeons would cover his entire body, And so he was like a man made out of pigeons. And it was like my favorite part of my day was seeing this because it was kind of cool. But
that is very interesting.
It was very interesting. He did that all day. I'd see him on my way home and to work.
People do shit like that on vacations, like with tropical birds and stuff and enclosures.
That's true, but it's pigeons.
Hey,
but they're birds. Cool. Yeah, they're still birds.
Sometimes they have that.
They need love too.
Their feathers are like
sometimes they're green and purple.
Yes,
that's cool.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Can I ask a question? What do you think about naming your kid Pigeon?
Why would you?
I think it'd be better if it was Pigeon.
Because Theo, Kat's brother, has a friend named Pigeon.
That is so Seattle. Yes, that checks out.
It's weird.
It's
why would you
Pacific
name your kid
Northwestern.
Pigeon? My mom says
the same reason you name your kid River.
River is normal. Pigeon, that's like naming your kid Rat.
Rat with wings.
Yeah. Or chicken, like it's just so random.
These are my kids, Pigeon and Chicken.
Like if you name your kid,
cute.
Like Lion, or I'm trying to think of another majestic animal.
Wolf.
Like I guess that makes sense.
Pigeon. I wonder what it means to the parents.
I don't know. I guess they call her Pidgey, which is kind of cute. I feel like that's like old fashioned, like 50s name, Pidgey. Kind of like Midge.
Yeah. Pidgey is kind of like one of those like really wealthy old white socialite names.
It's like a country club nickname.
Yeah. Me and Pidgey are going down to the club.
Exactly. Pidgey is cute. Pigeon is questionable. I don't know why you would do that.
Once again, if you're going to name your child something just to call them by the nickname, name them the nickname.
Right.
I stand by that.
That's like
like it's your kid. You're in charge.
Yeah. On Reddit, someone asked would they be the asshole if they named their kid Andy Bell, like all one word, because they liked the name Andy Bell. They made it up, and everyone was like, you probably shouldn't do that when Anna Bell is right there, or Andrea Bella or something, and you could just nickname them Andy Bell.
See.
So that's the reverse of your argument. Kind of.
I thought antebellum when you said Andy Bell, and I was like,
yeah, that would be unfortunate as well. Also not a good idea.
Also not great.
Other than that, I kind of like Andy Bell because I feel like you can at least remember that and it comes back to mind. It's not overly complicated.
Yeah, and people would know how to spell it.
Right.
And, I mean, it's cute as a nickname.
I do like a good double first name, like Mary Kate. I like that. I like Andy Bell. I really like the unique names. Like Andy Bell, it's two basic names together.
Yeah, I think if it's Andy space Bell, but they wanted it all one word.
Andy Bell.
Andy Bell.
I mean, make up your own shit, whatever.
That's true. I don't really give a fuck.
I don't give a crap that much. And when I say basic, I want to clarify that I mean that it's used commonly used. Yes.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I do think people are too uptight about you have to give them this name because a traditional name because blah blah blah. No, whatever.
I agree. And there's also been, so this makes me think of a conversation that I had with a previous coworker, who she's Black and her family is Black, and her mom thought of a name that she liked, and the nurses for her brother, the nurses in the hospital when her brother was born, they were like, well, this isn't a name, first of all, but they quote unquote let her keep it, but they changed the spelling on his birth certificate.
There's a long history of that happening, especially to people of color.
So I don't give a crap.
I agree with you.
But I have opinions.
But I do have an opinion about the name Pigeon. I think that stands on its own two legs as a bad name.
Yeah, I really didn't expect that to be a real name. I was like, wow, what are you interesting question, Alec. Are you thinking on it?
Pigeon could be cute for a kid, but then imagine them growing up and getting married and in the throes of love, you have to be like, oh, Pigeon. It's how do you how is that name ever romantic?
And and it's I just think of pigeons as dirty street birds. I know they're beautiful in their own way, but like
We all are.
that's like naming your kid Possum. I love possums. I get excited every time I see one, but like the connotation. Like you're not going to name your kid Cockroach or Possum or Raccoon. Like you know what I mean? It's a pest.
Context matters. That's it. That's all.
So true. Okay,
Amen.
well, that was a sidebar. Let's see.
I thought you were going to see that is the end of my lesson. I was
No.
like, what?
Okay, as I was saying before that long tangent,
let's talk about other names.
the United States and Britain had pigeons, and that's largely thanks to captured pigeons from World War I. And then these pigeons were selectively bred to be even faster and have more endurance than the World War I pigeons. Their handlers also now had more knowledge on how to make the pigeons fly faster. Withholding food until they arrived at their destination was one strategy, but something that worked even better was before you removed the pigeon from the roost for its mission, especially male pigeons, you would introduce another male pigeon to that pigeon's mate. And then you would take it away. And so then it would be like really jealous and want to go back to its mate. So then it would fly faster.
Okay, so they know how to work them. They are playing the game. It'd be so funny. You said that they had hawks earlier on that they had used. It'd be funny if they like trained the hawks to chase the pigeons to make the pigeons go faster.
I was thinking you were going to say, I wonder if they train the hawks to attack enemy pigeons, because I wonder if that's a thing. It didn't come up in my research, but it would make sense.
It would be hard to tell. And maybe they could have like marked their own pigeons with a specific scent, and any other scent the hawk had to kill.
Yeah,
and
that would be crazy.
Completely hypothetical situation.
I think we have a future as war generals.
Well,
these are good ideas.
That's not something I want. You would be good at it, though. I'll give you that.
Over the course of the war, Britain deployed about 250,000 pigeons.
Too many. Once again, 52 is way too many by like 52,900.
And this is 250,000.
No, ma'am.
A lot. Germany, of course, was also deploying pigeons, which caused pigeon paranoia among the British. Like anytime people saw a pigeon, they were afraid that it was a spy pigeon from the Germans.
And then you couldn't do anything about a pigeon because what if it was your home country's pigeon? But what if it's not?
They dressed them differently, I will say, because some people would like disguise their pigeons as enemy pigeons to get them like to their destination
Pigeon
safely.
Wearing a mustache.
they're wearing Hitler stashes.
Oh no! They have the armband with their on their wing.
German pigeons actually did have armbands, but they were made out of, they weren't like Nazi armbands. They were like metal ones around their leg.
Armbands, nonetheless.
True.
Is wild.
It was in fashion. Okay.
It was in fascism.
In fascism. Good one.
Thank you.
Some people said they could, quote, identify a pigeon with a German accent. People were thinking a lot about pigeons, and sometimes they thought about them a little too much. Famous behaviorist B.F. Skinner had the idea to produce a pigeon-guided bomb. The bomb would be placed on a glider that would be piloted by a pigeon who would be trained to fly toward a specific location. So they didn't have drones, but they did have pigeons.
No.
Meanwhile, Germany had their own idea to outfit pigeons with cameras so they could take aerial photos of enemy territory. Neither of these ideas ended up actually happening.
Good. Thank goodness. Here I am sitting about what I would do with a pigeon. Just picture me in my house. The pigeon is in the cage, and I'm such an idiot sometimes. I'd be like trying to teach it how to talk. I'd be like, Mama. Mama.
That would be so cute though.
It'd be so cute. Mama. I know. I try and get Safety to do it all the time, but he just screams.
I think Ghosty can say mom.
Ghosty can say a full sentence. Say, where are you?
Yeah, he's so cute.
He's a human trapped in a cat's body.
He is. Pigeons are best suited, though, for their original use, which is carrying messages. The British Royal Air Force...
Evolutionarily, their original use, carrying messages. Clearly not building nests.
Their original use in war. Sorry. The British Royal Air Force estimated that 1 in every 7 crew members who had to be rescued at sea owed their salvation to a messenger pigeon.
That's incredible.
Isn't that crazy? They saved so many people.
Yeah.
New equipment was developed to expand access to pigeons. A special pigeon holder was invented for paratroopers by a bra company. And this kept the pigeons safe on parachute rides and then could be adjusted to hold the pigeon on your back once you were safely on the ground. The first paratrooper pigeon was named Thunderbird, and he received a miniature pair of wings for his bravery.
Aww. He's like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this? I just want a nice cage, a couple acres of land.
I just want to not fucking do this shit.
I just want to not be in war. Yeah. Is that too much to ask?
Special cages were developed so that supplies of pigeons could be dropped from planes to troops and civilians on the ground alike. And this facilitated communication to isolated countrysides, especially during the Normandy invasions. Yeah. So these pigeons were dropped down so that French citizens could send messages reporting on Nazi movement and information back to the Allied forces.
This is blowing my mind.
Sometimes pigeons didn't even need special equipment. Pigeons in B-17 bombers could survive without oxygen masks and without heated suits, unlike their human coworkers.
Gosh, I'm just picturing a hardcore pigeon with like traditional American tattoos, smoking a cigar.
Yeah, its little wing is shaved so it could be all tatted up.
Like, I've seen some shit.
They could also survive drops from airplanes at speeds of up to 375 miles per hour, wrapped in only a paper shopping bag.
How does that not kill them immediately?
They're indestructible. And this might sound careless, like we're just throwing pigeons out of airplanes, but most military men had a lot of respect for their birds. After a number of Corporal Jimmy Gunnell's birds were injured and wounded, he recalled, quote, "It was a sad occasion when I buried those pigeons side by side like good soldiers they had been. Later, I patched up the wounds of the wounded ones."
It's really incredible how healing a relationship with an animal is and how intimate it can be.
Yeah, it is.
That's heartbreaking and heartwarming at the same time to hear that.
I wonder if that's why my pigeon man covered himself in bird seed and pigeons.
That's why.
It was
the sole reason.
For companionship.
Maybe
and no other reason.
No other reason. You like the way they smell.
Yeah. He was right. The pigeons were good little soldiers. 32 pigeons were awarded with the Dickon Medal. Dickon, which is for honorable work by animals in World War II.
Dicking around.
No. One of those birds was William of Orange, whose messages saved 2,000 troops at the Battle of Arnhem.
They need to get all of the seeds that they want to eat. They need whatever else birds like. I don't know. I'm not in the bird sphere, but
worms, maybe
perhaps
some worms, breadcrumbs,
maybe some proper housing material. Maybe they just don't have the right materials.
They just need their nests made for them. Have a robin make those pigeon nests. They'll be thankful for it.
Yeah.
Patty the pigeon received the medal after being the fastest pigeon to arrive back to England with news of the successful D-Day invasion.
Oh, wow.
G.I. Joe is probably the most famous war pigeon. In October of 1943, British troops recaptured the Italian village of Calvi Vecchia from the Germans, but they did this earlier than planned. So, meanwhile, Allied forces thought Germans were still there and planned to bomb it to weaken it before the ground troops would come in, but they were already there. So they were about to bomb their own people. And as a last-ditch effort, they sent G.I. Joe with a message to tell them, hey, don't bomb it. We're here.
Don't do it. Please don't do it.
He traveled the 20-mile flight in only 20 minutes and arrived just as the bombers were about to take off. So he saved the lives of about 100 soldiers and the like residents of the village.
Repercussions of saving all of their lives and not bombing.
Yeah.
Wow.
So pretty cool.
Yeah, it's chill. No biggie.
It's cool. Some pigeons even received human military honors. Pigeon Cher Ami received the Croix de Guerre. I don't know how to say French words. Croix de Guerre, a French military decoration for delivering 12 important messages in World War I. Cher Ami was reportedly as popular as any human war hero and was especially beloved by American school children in the 20s and 30s.
Oh, everyone needs a hero. Sometimes it's a pigeon. What are you going to do? Sometimes it's a pigeon.
Why wouldn't it be a pigeon? They're so cute. When he died, he was taxidermied, and he's currently displayed at the National Museum of American History alongside Sergeant Stubby, the Boston Terrier.
Oh, Sergeant Stubby. For his tail, or?
Probably, or his legs, or his face. He's a Boston Terrier. Developments in technology made war pigeons pretty much obsolete by 1957. Most of the military stock was auctioned off to private owners or displayed in zoos or after their death in museums. Modern war pigeons have surfaced, though, a couple times in recent years. At least 3 times since 2010, Indian police have arrested pigeons under the suspicion that they are Pakistani spies.
Oh.
I don't know that any of them actually were.
Yeah, how'd that work out? But okay.
Yeah.
And how do you get the handcuffs small enough?
Oh, they're so small. They just use like novelty keychain handcuffs for the pigeons.
Oh, yeah. They put it around their legs and it's just too heavy for them to fly.
Cute. In 2016, Jordanian border officials reported that the Islamic State militants were using pigeons to deliver messages outside of their territory. I'm not sure anything ever came of that either. It's just like these random reports every now and then of suspicions, but it doesn't seem like people are actually using them.
After all that they did in the world wars, I am always going to be suspicious of passenger pigeons because it would be pretty smart to set something up with them unsuspecting, unless you are suspecting because you listened to this lesson.
Yes. Now everyone is on high alert. Today, most homing pigeons are owned by private citizens for the sport of pigeon racing. And this sport isn't huge in the US, but I guess people are crazy for it abroad, especially in parts of Europe. It's a really prestigious sport, and a good racing pigeon can cost $10,000. Some have been known to sell for up to $1 million.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I think that is a perfect description of the difference in priorities between other countries and the United States. They race them, they, breed them, whatever, they sell them, they care for them, hopefully. Mm-hmm. The U.S. will, hunt them. You release a bunch of pigeons and
do people hunt pigeons?
Yeah, it's like gaming practice. Oh. Release the birds and then practice.
Oh, sad. Mm-hmm. They probably do that in Europe too, though.
Yeah, probably. But we don't race them like Europe does.
Yeah, just
I'm talking out of my ass. To be very clear, that is a assumption on my end. So if I'm making an ass out of myself, then sorry, I'm an idiot.
No, you're probably right. But anyway, that's my lesson on war pigeons.
That was such a fun lesson to learn and chat about.
Oh, good. I'm so glad.
And now I'm suspicious of all the little pigeons hanging around.
Well, they're all government drones because birds aren't real.
Birds aren't real. I've thought about covering that birds aren't real thing. Would be good. Started in Memphis. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Yes, the guy who lived in Memphis. So nice. Maybe that's a future lesson.
Yeah, I tried to research it once, but then just a bunch of merch came up, and I was like, no.
Yeah, there's stuff to be said, but it's would it make a good lesson? Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
maybe so.
All right, well, we'll BRB.
Hello, friends.
Hi.
Welcome to part 2 of our episode.
Thank you. I'm going to pour some more wine.
Give
it a little intro.
I'm going to drink some water.
Good idea.
Our journey today takes us to the small Spanish village of Bélmez. Picture this. We have quaint streets, cozy houses, and a close-knit community. In August 1971, 52-year-old Maria Gomez Camara was working in her kitchen when she noticed an odd stain on her concrete floor. The stain was peculiar because she didn't know where it came from, and as she tried to get a closer look, the stain started to resemble a face to her.
Ooh.
A slightly disturbed face at that. She thought she was seeing things, but then as time went on, the face became more and more clear. It was a face. She tried to scrub it. She tried to get rid of it. Multiple different things. It didn't work. It wasn't budging at all.
What color was the stain?
It was like grayish, black, I think.
I was picturing red like blood.
It's not red like blood.
So this is not quite as
not that sinister.
Scary.
Yeah, on the scary scale, we're at like maybe 2. Like it's odd.
Yeah.
But who's to say? It's not scary yet, I'd say.
And I think a gray stain on presumably gray concrete is like the least scary color.
It's very chill. It's like there is something there, but I'm not concerned yet.
Right.
I'm not calling the press.
Mm-hmm.
She chalked it up to her perception. She chalked her perception of the disturbed face up to her general being. She had been feeling kind of under the weather lately. So she's like, maybe I'm just having a sour, negative outlook on life. Maybe that's why I'm seeing this kind of like scary, disturbed face in my concrete.
That's what I would think.
That's what I would think too. So she goes on a few days later, and a few days after the face appeared, I don't know what conversation happened in between her seeing the stain and this happening, but she's like, we got to get rid of it. Her husband and son destroy it using a pickaxe.
What? On their floor?
On their floor.
Just paint over it.
And then they re-cement it.
What?
They're just like, we're going to chip the fuck out of this
Wow.
concrete.
It was really bothering her.
It was really bothering her.
Just put a rug over it.
It got girl, you need a rug. I am the biggest advocate for a good kitchen rug. You may think food gets on it. No, it doesn't. Just
use like an
house.
Outdoor rug too.
Yes, outdoor rug is
wipe that shit right off.
It's the key. Almost all of my indoor rugs are outdoor rugs.
Smart.
Thank you. So they pickaxe this shit. And they never should have put so much effort into this because about a week later, a second face emerges in her kitchen floor. And this one we actually have a picture of. So I will now direct you to look at the picture.
Oh my God. I don't know what I was picturing, but it wasn't that. That looks like an oil painting of a face. It's not a stain.
It's not just like you're seeing things like it could be something that is clearly a face. It looks like someone who has maybe like a babushka on. She's very jowly, I will say.
What do they call those lines like on the side
smile
of your lips?
lines?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. She has strong smile lines. Mm-hmm. And she's giving a side eye a bit, I think.
Now I can see why they pickaxed it.
There's no scrubbing it. Yeah, there's no sanding it. There's no rugging. You can't know that a face like that is underneath the rug.
That
makes
really
it worse.
Creepy.
But it also just looks like a painting of a face from like someone who isn't really good at drawing faces.
Yeah.
Yeah. If
like
someone painted it, it is a bit immature. Maybe better than I could do. It's almost like Picasso-y.
Right. But if you're listening, it doesn't look like a photographic stain where you're like, wow, that kind of does look real. It doesn't look real at all.
It looks bad, but it's definitely a face.
It's a distinct face. So gossip of the two faces appearing in the home spread like wildfire. The news reached the freaking mayor of Bélmez. And this reminds me, have you heard this story before?
No.
Oh, good. Okay. So the mayor deemed it his civil duty to protect this second spooky wall face.
Okay, sir, then you buy that house and the family can move because like that's none of your business.
Would you move? Is this where you draw the line? Because we like spooky
I
things.
love spooky things. I wouldn't move, but I think a lot of people would want to move, especially if they're pickaxing it.
Yeah, that was an intense measure. So he heard that they pickaxed the first one, and he outlaws the destruction of it. He's like, you can't destroy it. We have to investigate. Neighbors started coming by to see the mysterious face, which was nicknamed La Pava, which I looked up but forget what it means in Spanish. And eventually sightseers start coming from out of town to Maria's house to see the face. On November 2nd, a team was brought in to cut the face from the floor and mount it on a wall to put it behind a protective layer of glass after they took some samples of the material. So they're like really getting into this. At this point, I don't know how many people are thinking like this could be
That's my
sham.
That's my question. We all just bought this story without question.
The mayor was so into it, right? He's immediately like, protect the face at all costs.
He's us.
Yes.
But you would think somebody would step in and be like, maybe we should just like look around the house, see if there's any acrylic paints about, see if there's a reference photo that somebody may have used.
They're like, it's weird. This face looks exactly like you, Maria, which it doesn't.
She just like put like frosting or something on her face and then stamped it on the floor.
Oh my God. Yeah. She has like plaster of Paris that she has on the floor, just dips her face. She pulls a Michael Scott.
Yeah.
Puts the straw in her mouth. So they start investigating, and apparently, now there are some sources on this. Some of them are in Spanish, and some of them are things like Medium, which is, a creative writing website, which is one of my sources. But I did read a research article about this. Apparently, an excavation was ordered of.
Wait, hold on.
Yes.
Medium is a creative writing website?
Yeah, it's a blog.
Yeah, it's a blog.
Okay, but like they report on true things, right? It's not like all creative like fiction
It's
writing.
not like fan fiction.
Okay, I was like, hold up, because I've definitely used that as a source.
Your entire life has flashed before your eyes. That's fucking hilarious.
Okay. As long as it's like a blog that may write about true things.
They may write about true things, but they have creative liberty.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not representing any newspaper or news agency.
It's
Okay,
no
I mean, I
edu.
figured, but
it's no .org. It's a runofyourmill.com.
Okay.
You're like, I need to check if carrier pigeons actually exist real quick.
My main
your
source is
Blue Adapt.
Wikipedia, so you can check them out.
Hey, Wikipedia is a perfect primary source.
It is good.
It's the knowledge of the people. So, apparently, from what I understand, from what the sources told me that I'm now telling you, is that an excavation of Maria's kitchen floor was conducted in December 1971. In this excavation, they found human remains, but none of them had skulls. It was just the skeletons, no skull.
She was a DIY queen, making her own head.
Make your own head. This
Bring
is
your
what
head to work
this
day.
is where the phrase "make up your mind" came from. The human remains were taken away and later interned in a nearby Catholic cemetery. And then the hole in her kitchen was refilled with concrete. Now, this house, they think, may have been built on an old cemetery since it was either next to or very close to an old church.
I mean, I feel like everything in Europe is on an old cemetery.
It's just layers.
There's
layers
too much.
Of decomposed, deceased. They're gone.
Especially Italy. It's such a small, narrow
They're
country.
stacked.
There's graveyards. There's got to be graveyards on everything.
Everything is a graveyard. You just have to move up and move on.
Yeah.
Some reports estimate the remains to be about 700 years old.
Whoa.
So it could be some old shit. Not to disrespect the dead. by calling them old shit, but that's some pretty old shit. Everyone expected the mysterious faces to be gone. When they took the bodies away, they were like, okay, this is surely done for. And it was that way for a whole 2 weeks. New faces started to appear, and the second face remained. It started to gain notoriety, and it got its nickname La Pava. And the La Pava face actually changed over time, which I have a picture of as well. This one is over several months.
Is this the one they removed from the floor?
Yes, and
Okay.
it's the one that was behind the protective glass.
Okay, she's kind of fading.
She's kind of fading away.
Yeah.
I feel like in the second to last one, she starts to get teeth a little bit. Like she starts to look more happy.
Yeah, I could see that. It kind of also looks like there's like extra mouths all over her face.
Yeah, her smile lines become deeper. She starts to look kind of like she has a goatee situation.
Yeah, she starts to look more like Guy Fieri.
Total Guy Fieri.
How dare you?
That's respectable, Kat. Don't even.
Not for a woman.
We don't know she's a woman.
I didn't get woman at any stage.
Really?
Oh, I definitely
think
got
she
woman
looks
to
like a
begin with.
woman.
She
I feel like men have those big jowls.
I think she looks like
women can have jowls.
I think she looks like a woman.
I'm definitely going to be a jowly elder. I already see it. It's already happening. It's already happening.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, being done with Accutane yesterday, I was just waiting in the office, and they had this magazine of different procedures done by different doctors. And I'm like, I want this, and I want that, and I want this, and I want that.
You're going to become a cosmetic procedure girly.
I might.
You
and that's
should.
okay.
Why not?
I want definitely like an eye lift type thing. We've talked about that. Perhaps a neck and facelift when I'm a bit older.
Okay.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Whatever the money lets flow.
Right.
We'll, if I like it, I like it. Whatever.
Whatever money allows.
Which is probably little to none, but we'll see. All right. So where am I in my notes? Yeah. So the face is changing over time. And the general public is more interested than ever, and so were paranormal investigators. New faces were appearing at the rate of about once a month in the first year. So once a month, a new face would start appearing, and there was seemingly no pattern to them. They formed at different speeds, sometimes directly in front of an eyewitness. A face would appear.
pop up?
It would pop up in the floor.
God,
Some
it's
faces,
like that nail polish that changes color in the sun.
That was my favorite discovery as a kid. And my grandma came back from like Costa Rica or
It was
some
always
shit.
your grandma coming back from a vacation. Like they didn't
Grandmas,
sell that
no.
shit at Walgreens.
They absolutely did not. It makes you want to go to Mexico, Costa Rica, whatever, which obviously you want to anyway.
It was so fun. Why isn't it that like at every like checkout counter?
I always got some dope ass gifts from my grandma, but then my brother, she went to Maine one time and she brought him back. I think I've told you this before, but she brought him back the like claw of the crab that she ate for dinner one of the nights in Maine.
Yeah, we have talked about that before.
I just had to bring it up while, it's all about balance,
She
right?
could have at least said she found it at the beach. She didn't have to say she ate it.
I am a firm believer in the fact that there are good times to lie, and that's one of them.
It really is.
Much like the episode of Bachelor last night. So again, if you have not yet listened, pause this episode right now and binge watch Charity Lawson season.
For those who are going to watch it and don't mind being spoiled, this man could
You
not
love
look her
spoiling.
in the eye and say, I'm not going to cheat on you.
Just lie.
He confessed to her that he's cheated on partners in the past, and she goes, okay, but if we move forward, you're not going to do that to me, right? And he couldn't say it. He said, I don't know.
Alec, you need to make that into the meme of the like, you're not going to do this, right? And then it's just looking and they're
it's
like, you're not going to
Xavier.
do this, right? Please do that.
Where he's like, I need to see more.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
the craziest thing I'd ever seen. I obviously like it's I guess good in the long run he told the truth, but it was just that was just so crazy.
It truly was.
Just
And
lie.
I'm against lying generally. I think honesty is the best policy, but in his position, just lie.
Right. And yeah, like how How can you look at someone you're dating and be like, I don't know that I won't cheat on you and I can't make any promises? What?
He's laying it all out there. I will give him that. He is showing his truest self, and it's better to do it now than when they're, a marriage and 2 kids deep.
He's very honest. Let your red flags fly.
Let them fly, baby. Let them fly. And Charity, if you're listening, you're somewhere out there. Feel this vibration.
She's listening.
She's listening. She better be listening, because what I'm about to say is that you have to recognize the red flags
She did. She sent him home, but I was really scared there for a minute.
She was a little too nice on the front end.
Yeah. I think she was probably given instructions to drag out that conversation as long as possible.
Yeah.
So she delivered. She did a good job.
Great episode. Great season. Mm-hmm. Back to the lesson.
Okay, sorry.
So new faces are forming. They're forming at different speeds. Sometimes in front of people. Sometimes they appeared and then disappeared. Sometimes their appearance changed over time. Initial investigations were conducted by the Popo. Maria called them the science police from Madrid, which I love so much. I feel like that's just like a language barrier that was like translated incorrectly.
No, it sounds like something we'd like call Tommy, the science police, the wet blanket brigade.
Yeah, it's very cute. They came to her home for 8 days and used various devices. They examined the faces. They took concrete samples to analyze. And not only were the police allowed into the home, and not only were a group of skeptics allowed into the home, but also the Guardia Civil, which is like the state police in the United States. So kind of like the FBI, I think. They took interest in the case, and they came in hopes of maintaining public order.
Okay.
In addition to this, a retired Guardia Civil officer lived across the street from the Bélmez faces house. So there were always these officers and retired members of the Guardia Civil hanging around, keeping their eyes on all the investigators, researchers, and parapsychologists.
Everybody had a nanny.
There's too many cooks in the kitchen.
It reminds me in like a 19 Kids and Counting when like everyone is assigned a buddy.
Everyone has a buddy.
There's somebody watching everyone.
This is the best case scenario for everyone to always have a buddy. 19 Kids and Counting is the worst scenario.
Terrible.
Have you watched Shiny Happy People
yet?
Yes,
I did.
It was so good.
It was fascinating and horrifying, and highly recommend watching it if you haven't.
Yeah, I want a horror movie to make me feel the way Shiny Happy People did watching it.
Yeah, it's horrifying.
I want the horror I feel to come from something that is not true.
But a fundy Christian horror movie could be really good.
Oh, yeah, it could be really disgusting.
Like we've done
like Human Centipede level.
Oh.
The level. I'm not talking about like visually and all of that, but like the feeling it gives you. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Like there's a lot of like cult movies, like Amish style, like Christian cult movies, but like I want to see like a mega church horror movie. You know what I mean? Like fundy mega church horror movie. Yeah.
Producers, directors, I know you're listening. Make it happen. Okay, so everyone has a buddy, and according to Maria, they came into her house almost every single day. There's a whole lot of hoopla around this case, but not enough official reports, according to Spanish parapsychologist Germán de Argumosa. Germán asked the governor why he could only learn about this case from newspapers and tabloids and not from an official academic reliable source. Why no .orgs? Germán wanted to make impressions of the faces himself. He wanted to see if he could explain this phenomenon. The governor couldn't answer as to why there were no official reports out yet, and it had been like 6 months. But he reassured Germán that no fraudulent manipulation or conventional explanation could be found. Germán suggests that they should focus on teleplastias or teleplastics, from a parapsychological point of view. And at this point, the governor's like, okay, dude, just go in there. You have my permission. Do the investigations yourself. Write up the report.
Quit bitching and just go look at it. It's right here.
Yeah.
You don't need a report. You can see it with your eyes.
There are so many people coming to see it. Just do DIY it.
Yeah, he's like looking at people walking in and out of the house. He's like, if only like I had a reliable report.
I want to be where the people are. German employed EVPs, or in Spanish, here's a new vocab word for you, parafonias.
Ooh.
Yes. Which he
Is that
said,
like paranormal noises?
I think so.
Okay.
He said it included the voice of a child and sounds which he estimated to be a, quote, mixture of hell and a brothel.
Oh, how does he know what either of those things sound like?
I have questions.
I have a lot of questions.
We need a disclaimer. Is this like, you know for sure, or you are assuming? What is it?
Yeah, I want specifics.
What does it mean? What does it mean? Yeah, the research article that I read had a lot of great information and pulled from a lot of different sources and letters, and this is where I got the pictures from for this case. I, in all honesty, did not have the time to read all of the little like contextual notes and things. Some of them I did read, which was great, but I will absolutely link it in the notes of this episode if you all want to check it out. There may be more information where they go into more depth about the EVPs, but all of the shorter sources that I read, that's pretty much what I got from it. So he was like, something scary happened. Maria was not home during these recordings. I will say that. During his investigation, they also covered the floor with this plastic sheet. I do have a picture of it. And they sealed it with varnish. And it's not plastic like plastic wrap. It's more like plexiglass.
Yeah.
And they wanted to see what would happen. Now, after they sealed it, within a few hours, a new face appeared and then disappeared 2 days later.
And did they see it appear?
That's a good question. I'm not sure.
And was it under the plastic?
It was under the plastic, but they did have to remove the sheet about a week after it was in place due to an accumulation of condensation.
Weird.
And it's not like it created a vacuum. So there was still air in there. Water is in air. So it's not crazy to think there would be condensation. But it just makes you wonder. I want it to be real so bad.
Unless there's like some big scam reveal, I think it's real. I don't know, but I'm also like really gullible with this kind of stuff. I don't know. I think like maybe the house was built on a graveyard and one of the spirits wanted her body dug up, so she made the little face, and then all the other guys like saw her getting attention and wanted in on it.
Yeah, they're like, this is fun.
Yeah.
I haven't seen people in literally hundreds of years.
Right. It sounds fun.
Art
I
from
love
the
it.
other side. I love it too.
But it just looks like something someone drew.
Yeah, but if people are seeing it materialize, how would you fake that?
And why would you lie?
I don't know. It just reminds me of the Always Sunny episode where there's the stain on the wall and they're like, we've got a miracle.
Yeah, but the Jesus toast.
These like clearly look like faces. Was anyone profiting off of this?
That's what's unclear to me as well. That's one of the theories, is that Maria was just making this up to profit. So it's unclear to me if she's charging or not. I don't know.
I feel like if she were, someone would say it.
And I'll get to something else about Maria that I think is really interesting in a minute. Okay, so at the same time German was starting his investigation, a tabloid paper called Pueblo, which is
people.
No,
town.
Isn't
Pueblo is town.
Pueblo is also people, right?
I don't know. I'm only 250 days into Duolingo.
I really thought that it was also acceptable for people.
I don't know. Is it?
I know it's definitely town.
Town.
Does Pueblo mean people?
Isn't hombres people?
The word pueblo is the Spanish word both for town or village and for people.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, so it's the Spanish version of people.
We know Spanish.
We know it, and Google just confirmed it. So Pueblo came to the village to get the tea on the faces and later published an article whose headline read, "The mystery is solved." They asserted that a chemical formula for producing faces, quote, consisted of silver chloride, silver chlorine, and ultraviolet light.
Oh, so when the sun came up and shined on it, it like activated it and made the faces.
Who the fuck knows?
Okay.
I know there is one problem. They analyzed the material and there were no traces of silver at all.
Oh.
So this story goes out. The international press accepts this solution to the Bélmez faces and people start accepting it as truth. Only later was it discovered that the Pueblo article was actually, quote, published in response to pressure from the government.
Yeah.
Which wanted to get rid of the public turmoil caused by the faces.
This is always how it goes. People cry that they want proof of the paranormal. And then when there is proof, they make up some bullshit excuse that's not true to say it's explained, not paranormally.
Yep. Their plan was shitty, though, because people were still freaking out about the faces and traveling to see them. It's unclear. She could have been making money. Maria could have been from the tourism. She probably was. Although some people believe the Bélmez faces are a result of pareidolia, which is the tendency to perceive a meaningful image in an ambiguous pattern.
That is a face that there's no denying.
The pareidolia is a farce. These are faces. I am in this to win this. That's the conventional hypothesis. Yeah. But of course, there are others. Some people look to religion, although it was never officially supported by the church. Some people are like, maybe it's a religious miracle. We don't know what it means, but maybe so. But of course, we are here for the paranormal hypothesis. And I'm just going to read you a quote here from the article that I read. Interviews with the local population produced handed down reports of paranormal phenomena in this area of the village that go back long before the appearance of the faces. Furthermore, there are documents at the University of Salamanca on the basis of which can be shown that a family of 5 was murdered by the mayor of Bélmez in the 17th century.
Oh. I thought you meant the same mayor who's all into these faces.
Like it all connects. He's one of those people. Yeah, one of the murderers. You know how they are serial killers.
Yeah,
like,
they come back to the thing. Mm-hmm. They're in the search party.
Yeah. Faces. These faces continue to appear past Maria's death in 2004.
That's all the evidence you need.
Yeah, some people think it was her son. I will say that theory is out there. But they continue to appear past her death and even started showing up in the house that she was born in.
Oh, weird.
Another weird correlation is that when the faces appeared, they would sometimes be more faded or less discreet if she was feeling down or sick like she was when she first saw the face. So some people think that she is a medium or has some link to the faces.
Like a poltergeist type thing. Like your emotions feed into it.
It's connected and the energy flows. Yes. So researchers have been able to rule out paint, but some people still held out for when Maria died one day, believing it to be a hoax that would end when she did, but it continued. Plenty have tried and failed to recreate the Bélmez faces using a variety of techniques, but all have been declared as failures as this mystery continues on.
So it's still happening today?
Yeah, as far as I know.
Why aren't there so many more photos?
I have no clue. It may not be. Maybe it didn't.
Yeah.
That's a great question.
Or, I mean, I guess it's private property probably, so maybe people aren't going in there.
Alec, don't Google it.
It turns out it's just a creepypasta.
I would be so upset. Bélmez faces today. Let's look it up.
I mean,
They look
these all
pretty
just look like
distinct.
drawings, you guys.
They look like faces from the grave.
You guys are the people that would have been like diehard Catholics in the Middle Ages because you'd believe every single thing they told you.
We would have been witches in the Middle
Yeah.
Ages.
They'd be like, this is a splinter from Jesus. And you'd be like, oh my God, let me touch it. It is.
Okay.
Hey, what is
It's
more
fun to believe in things.
Yes. It's, you being a dick about things doesn't make you cool. You know?
No,
Or
I'm saying,
smart.
I'm
you
trying to
either. Yeah, we're
defend,
smart.
I'm trying to defend the
The
audience
non-believers.
that
Shun the
this looks
non-believer,
like
Charlie.
drawings.
Shine. And that's the fun of it. It looks
Yeah.
like this, but it's been unproven. It continues past her death. It's a fun little mystery.
And maybe it's ghost drawings. Ghosts aren't all good at art.
right.
You don't know.
'Tis the trickery that pleases me.
I'm pleased by this lesson, and I believe.
Thank you so much. I also believe, and I'm so glad that you haven't heard of this already.
Yeah, I never have.
Is mind blowing. I hope you all haven't either, or if you have, or if you haven't either, I hope it was a fun lesson. And that's all I got.
Well, thank you all for
You're welcome.
your learning journey. I'm ready to continue with some more learning journeys on Patreon for extra credit.
Oh yeah, I've got a good fact this week, you guys.
I've got two good ones. I haven't decided which one I'm going to choose yet.
Both.
Both? No. You
She's
got
gotta save 'em.
one. We'll see.
She's
I'll probably do
harboring
both.
facts.
All right. Bye, you all. Thank you for your support, and we'll see you next week.
3, 2, 1.
Class dismissed.